Hello, I'm inside my car, uh, back at Barnes Park. From the police station. I should be taking a walk, which I'm not. Anyways, okay. Uh, I've been recently watching these 15-minute clips of the entire movie, so they're kind of getting addicting. Well, they are addicting. Um, so I don't have to watch the whole movie. So it's like it gives you a 15-minute recap of the entire movie in 15 minutes. So you don't have to watch the whole movie. So there's all these movies I like to have watched, but I don't have time to spend 2 hours and watch a movie. Um, and I don't want to subscribe to Netflix or any of these channels because I'll get addicted to watching these shows. So, uh, always been fascinated with Back to the Future. Uh, I would say that's my favorite movie. The three, the trilogy, my favorite movie, Back to the Future. I watched it a lot. Yeah, but watched it first time with my mom and dad and my sister. 19 whenever the movie came out, 85 or something. And me and my sister just got back from Japan, and then my parents, my mom and dad, our mom and dad took us to the movie theater, and I never saw a trailer or any of that stuff, so I didn't know what the movie was about, and uh, and we watched Back to the Future, the first one. It was like amazing, and then I saw the second and third one later. Great, great, great series, and it's about time travel, which is like it kind of begs the question, like, oh my god, you're in a freaking DeLorean, and you travel through time. Um, that's a device, and then there's a movie Time Machine, where he sits in a chair and right then he travels through time, which is he goes in the future. So time travel movies always been fascinating to me. So I've been watching these um, video shorts that are like based on time travel, right? And so I don't have to watch the whole movie. And there's a bunch of them which they're really good now. Or time loops. Time loops are the ones that are like um, you spend the same day over and over and over again. So that's like Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. And then they've made a bunch of other ones where the protagonist in the movie, you know, at the end of the day, when they wake up, it's the same day again. So they keep reliving the same day over and over and over again. So it's trippy. It's a good concept. Okay. Now, whether that happens supernaturally or a device, right? In the time travel movies, it's they're using a device, right? They're in a DeLorean or they're in a chair or something like that. But whether that happens in a device, or you could do it supernaturally or in your mind, uh, same thing, right? Because a device would have to eventually create. I mean, sorry, a mind would have to eventually create the device, right? And the device will be, um, a mechanism where they go dee, 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 like Back to the Future. He's hitting the time when he's gonna go see his, go back to when he um, left, right? He needs to go back to the future, right? So he's like on a keyboard hitting. I'm not plugging this in. Hitting the time to go back. It's like real fascinating. I got to go back to, October 15th, 1955 or 85 or whatever, right? He's like hitting the time thing, which is pretty cool. So Whether you could do that with a device, obviously, he had to think of how to create a device that could go specifically to a certain time. And he made the device, but he had to think about it, right? So it still does come with the mind. He had to like figure out on how to, number one, do that, but number two, how to create a device that could specifically take you to a certain point in time. Certain point in time. Right? Okay. So he had to actually think about it first and then create the device. It's not like he found a supernatural device, that like landed on this planet from an alien species. He had to create it. Okay. So it's still the mind, right? Okay. The mind had to create the device to go back in time, right? Or forward, right? Okay. All right. Now, it's still the mind. Is time travel possible? Okay. It is, but not like what you see in the movies. Okay? Not like what you see in the movies. I have precognition. Okay? I could tell what's going to happen to somebody tomorrow. Like I've done that. I've called somebody up 2:30 in the morning because I got a precognition of what's going to happen to them tomorrow, the next day. So I called her up and she was like, hello, but she was like, hello, hello, like that. And I go, hello. Yeah. Okay. This is what's going to happen. Tomorrow, the lady that's staying with you, which happened to be the most well known psychic uh, in the world, she worked for the FBI because she could find missing people and who murdered them. So she worked for FBI. She's found all these missing people. And she's written all these books. Okay. She's a very famous psychic. But she's old. Okay. Um, she's in her 70s. Okay. But she was staying with the woman that I call. Right. Get on the phone, call her. Okay, fine. It's Shara. Okay, I'm calling Shara. All right. I'm calling Shara. And I go, hey, the woman that's there, um, what was her name? Oh God, I forgot her name. She's like, I'll look it up. She's like the most famous psychic. She was like Steven Seagal's girlfriend at once, and she was beautiful then. She's like old now, old and big and grumpy woman. And I picked her up at the airport, dropped her off at Shara's place, and she was staying with Shara, and I was actually cooking for her, which was kind of interesting. She brought all this food, and I was cooking for her. I was preparing all the meals, and she hated me. I was very nice to her, but I was like, I'm telepathic, right? So I didn't tell her that, but she hated me because I would tell her stuff, right? We're not going to get into that. So, anyways, when I leave, I come back up to LA from San Diego. We're in San Diego. I'm going back up to LA. I drive up to LA, and I'm in LA working, Uber driving, and I go, oh, this is what's going to happen tomorrow. So I call her Shara up at 2:30 in the morning. I go, Shara, yeah. She goes, hello. I go, hello. Okay, listen, this is what's going to happen. Pam is going to fake an injury tomorrow. So she can't make the airplane. She's going to try to miss her flight. She's going to do that so then she could stay there and have you take care of her. And you're going to be stuck with her. They're going to close all the flights. So you're really stuck with her. and it would be forced to take care of her, right? So Cher's going, oh my gosh, right? So I go, remember I told you I could see things. What's going to happen? Yeah, well, that's going to happen to you tomorrow. Get on the flight. So he doesn't hang up the phone. Click. Okay. That's time travel because that's the future self coming back going, oh my God, this was going to happen to you. So sure enough, the next day, as she's trying to get her back on the flight, back to the airport, she's starting to feign weakness. That she's trying to delay missing her. She wants to miss her flight basically, and Cheryl was going, oh my gosh, she's actually literally doing that. So she's making sure she doesn't fall, feign an injury, or something like that, so she could stay. And got her in the car, so now she's off the property. Otherwise, she could fall on the property and go, oh, it was this property that caused me, hurt. Now I got to stay here, kind of thing. And that's exactly what she was trying to do. So that's tomorrow. I've done 2 weeks. I know what's going to happen in 2 weeks, 2 months, and 6 months. I've done it. Uh, as well as 1 year with some people. One woman, like, they don't want to hear it, but I'm just telling them flat out what I see, and I'm pretty accurate. There's one girl, we were on a movie set, and she goes, well, I want to be an actress. I go, okay. She goes, well, what do you see? What's going to happen to me a year from now? And I said, what's going to happen is you're going to keep going to these extra shoots. You won't be going to auditions even though you're supposed to. So you'll still be doing these little extra shoots. And you won't get a role. And that's what I saw. And she was like, oh. I guess so now that you know that, you could do whatever. I mean, you could either make sure you audition all the time or what, but that's what I see. I could be wrong, but I have precognition. Like I could see people's futures. Okay. And I'm pretty accurate, by the way. I'm pretty accurate. Um, but it doesn't come up all the time. I really have to focus in on them. Like they gotta, I gotta focus in on them. So it's not like I'm just walking around seeing everyone's future. Like I gotta focus in on them. So that is really time travel because that's basically what happens if 1 year from now that person had a time travel machine that could take them back 1 year and see what happened to them in the past, 1 year in the past, right? And tell them, hey, what's going to happen to you, right? And then go back to the future. That's a form of time travel. Now, that could be like, well, if you keep, you know, ditching class, you're going to fail. Well, that's obvious, if you're going to fail, you're going to get kicked out of high school or college. Or if you keep, gambling, you're going to lose your house, right? I mean, those are like obvious, like what's going to happen if you keep doing what you keep doing, right? But so everyone could technically do it, and I'm really good at it, and that's a form of time travel. And so I've just been fascinated about watching these time travel ones. So I could go in the future, but I'm very accurate, like that specifically accurate. Like I'll tell somebody, the woman's gonna feign an injury so she could not make the airplane. So then she's gonna have to stay with you, and then there's gonna flights are gonna be missing, and then you're stuck with her for the next several months, taking care of this really mean woman. refusing to go back home, saying she got injured on your property and missed her flight and has no financial resources to fly back, right? I was very specific. And then we got her on the air. She got her on the airplane with another guy that was a doctor that she was working with, that was like trying to promote her wellness center, the Shara. Got her on the plane and took off, and then the COVID thing hit, so all the flights were shut down anyways. So I have her dodge a bullet on that one. That's precognition. But I could also do it on like people's career or myself, which I do. I do that. And I'm basically going into the future and going, okay, this is what's gonna what's what your life's gonna be like, and then I come back and I go like, okay, come back to today. That's future, back to the future kind of thing. And if you go back in time, it's basically, you can't bring people back from the dead. You can't save their life, but you could observe what happened at that time. Basically, it's memories. But then you could also change how you feel about it at that time. So something happened, it really crushed you, right? And it changed your life to the worse because you're heartbroken or you're crushed or somebody left you or whatever. You can't bring them back to life, but you could definitely, let's say it was somebody that hurt you, you can go back and change it so it doesn't hurt anymore. You remember it, but it doesn't hurt anymore, and your life was different. And if you could do that, like a breakup that like crushed you, you can go back in time, and the breakup, you had a breakup, but it didn't crush you, or you ended up back with them. Okay. And you come back to today, it didn't either hurt or you end up will go back with them. They'll come back like they never left. Yeah. And that's where, you know, couples that split up come back together. Kind of, they rekindle it. So the breakup never happened. It's almost, you know, going back in time. But it's metaphorically, obviously it all happens in your mind anyways. And whether you jump on a time machine, you go back in time in a DeLorean, or you do it mentally, it's still the same thing. Now, you can't bring people back from the dead, but definitely if they're still alive and there was a relationship that something happened, like you never ended up with that person, or you did end up with the person and you broke up, that you can go back in those time and make it happen again. Same thing with, an opportunity or something like that. You could, oh God, if I only did this, you know, you can go back and like at least mentally fix it mentally. So like, oh, I should have got invested into whatever. You could at least, instead of killing yourself, you come back, go like, okay, I could have invested in it. You could observe it, but you can't like, it's not going to all of a sudden make you $1 million. I mean, if that's the case, you can come back and go, well, shoot, the next time I get an opportunity like that, I'll invest into something that hopefully makes me $1 million 10 years from now. You know, those are like stock traders, right? Um, but that's time travel in an essence. Can I do it? Yeah, I think everyone could do it, but I'm really accurate. So, it's easier to go in the future for me. To go in the past, it's like you go in the past to fix something mentally that's traumatic. Meaning that it did happen, but um, you no longer traumatized about it. So I've done that too. So that's going back to the past, um, or you go into the future, and that's like, like a time machine. And it's only within my lifetime. I'm not going. I can't go like 100 years in the future. I can just go within my lifetime. Uh, that's time traveler. All right. Oh, the movie Time Traveler's Wife. He's doing that too. He's only going within his lifetime, going back in time, forward in time, like that. He's doing that. Fascinating movie. That's actually one of my favorite movies too, as well. It's the time travel movie. Time Traveler's Wife. It's like a wife that's dealing with the time traveler. It's happening to him in his mind, but he actually literally disappears. So it's a fictional movie. But I'll talk to you soon. Bye.